Good morning again. Welcome to the Namaste experience. Yes, how are you today?
Awake and ready.
Awake and ready. There you go. Let's go with that. Yeah. We're going to have some folks join us today. I believe Juniper is with us. Are you with us out there today, Juniper?
Juniper Joseph is in the house. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for being here. Vicki will be joining us a little later. They've been busy folks this morning. I have a thought for you today. Oh, there's a surprise. When was the last time you experienced seeing something from the God's eye view? This morning, I sat and watched the darkness give way to the light. I don't know if any of you saw the sunrise here in Ajijic, Mexico. It was worth seeing. As I'm sitting in my meditation chair looking at the chapel, the light, which is now back on at the church, which I am grateful for, started to seem so much less as the grand light of the day made its way. I watched the unformed, the unknown, pull into its expression. That's what it looked like to me. Now, I know not everybody began their day this way. And of course, that beautiful scene was enhanced by the orchestra of the roosters. But wait, there's a bus. Oh, there's that man on the horse. Wow, the day is opening. And I could feel myself expanding into it. What did your morning feel like? What view did you see it from this morning? What did you experience in your morning? And we're not done yet. The day is young here, maybe a few hours later where you are. It is always available to open into and experience the God's eye view. What I notice in that is that I am much more at peace when I step back and take in and see it from how the God self that I am has the capacity to see it. Watching the light, watching the surroundings and how they change with the different lighting, hearing the sounds, and I was invited into that God's eye view. And of course, Bette Midler dropped in my mind. Doesn't Bette Midler drop into your meditation? From a distance. From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. From a distance. Now, I know that everybody that watches us, this might not be your experience, but I suspect several of us, it's true. Does anybody have to go like this to see things? You know, I woke up one day, there was nothing wrong with my eyes. My arms were just shorter. That's what actually happened, I think, right? And in that, I said, well, now how do I want to feel about that? And I decided that this is my wisdom reach. This is me knowing that taking a step back sometimes, most of the time, I get a better view. I have a different experience. I am moving into the God's eye view. Now, God is watching us from a distance, the song reminded us. And I said, the God in us is watching us. The observer is observing the observer. this seeing that there is a new way to experience what's in front of me. Where in your day, or in any of your days, could the God's eye view have been maybe a better way to see something? You know, I don't know if I've told you this story, so I'm just going to tell it again. And if I have, don't stop me. So I was installing a clock for my father, who was no longer able to do those things. And it was a heavy clock. It was about a 65-pound clock. And it was a family heirloom. And I'd put the D hook in the wall. I had everything ready to go. All I had to do was lift that baby up and hook it on that hook. That's all I had to do. So I did. I put it on my shoulder and I started hoisting it up the wall. And he had an opinion about how there probably was a better way to do that. And he was always willing to share. And so it began. 52 years of experience on my shoulder to hang on that hook. And I set the clock down because I was frustrated. And I said, why do you always have to be right? If I have ever seen a heart break, it was in that moment, and it was his. Because see, with a new view, with a God's eye view, in that moment, what happened for me was, oh, of course he always has to be right. That's what he brings to me. He's going to show me how to do everything perfectly and right so I am safe in the world. Now, he didn't say much, and I didn't always know where he stood on things. But I can tell you in that moment, from that God's eye view, I had a new experience of that person who had been in my life for 52 years. Now, I didn't like it anymore. I didn't like that criticism. I don't know that I got really good at accepting that all the time. But in that moment, in that God's eye view, I got to see that his language of love, his voice of love, was to make me really smart and strong and right. Now, I've had to untangle some of that. But that was the gift he knew he had to give. And with a God's eye view, I had a new experience. Where in your life? Where in your life? From a distance. It's the perspective of the expanded self. It's the I am that goes beyond the identities and stories. It is everything that we hear in the Course in Miracles, that what we're looking at is not what we really are seeing or have the opportunity to see. It's absolute awareness, and it sees all things as expressions of love. And suddenly that relationship shifted. And you know what? I did get that clock hung on the wall, and it kept time for a long time. And that was a healing that I offered myself when I took that wisdom reach, when I was willing to see it from the God's eye view. And I just wonder if Mr. Juniper Joseph has something to say about that.
Oh, well, like you can count on it. And I'm sure Vicky will as well. But what I'm feeling right now is a divine reframe. And that's what the holy instant is all about. How to reframe a decision made from fear into one that embraces love. And your father's story is such a good example of that. And every story is a good example of that. Every opportunity to reframe and to look at things from a different perspective. You see, we have been so conditioned in the egoic world, in the world of separation, to be afraid, to look at things from the perspective of what am I possibly going to lose here? When in reality, loss is impossible here, because the here that we believe we experience is not a here at all. It's a there. It's a gone. It's a was. Because right now, we can reframe and see that right now is the opportunity to love, to give, to be the source. And that's, I'm sure we all have stories just like with your father. I certainly have many of them with my own father. And my own father, just like your father, he feels like if I don't agree with him on something, he's done something wrong. Well, what's the answer? Just to love him exactly where he's at. And that's so, whatever decision he makes, whatever he feels he has to give me, just to receive it in that love. So I think every moment we're called to reframe everything back to that source, seeing things from the perspective of love rather than from fear. That's the God's eye view. God sees everything as itself. And what is God? Well, we know God is love. So if the reframe and the God's eye view is to simply see everything through that lens, it brings everything in focus. It's like since you've told a story, you've probably I don't think you've ever told that story before, but I know I do it all the time. My daughter always tells me, Dad, you've told me that story at least 20 times. I don't remember what stories I tell people, but I'm sure I've told this one before, how I realized that I needed glasses. And it was when it was 18 years old, and I thought I could see just fine. And I had a friend who wore glasses, and I said, I wonder what I look like with glasses on. And I put on his glasses, and suddenly everything became sharp. Everything became clear. I didn't realize that I was seeing things slightly foggy until I put on a pair of glasses, until I changed the lens. And isn't that what we're being called to do here? To change the lens from that which is fearful, that which is focused on what I might lose, even what I might gain. What I might gain is just as fearful of a thought as what I might lose. Because the truth is, you have everything you need right here, right now. It's right within you. That's where love resides. That's where God's eye view comes from. That sacred lens within our hearts through compassion, through love. So let's put on these new glasses and see what's always been right in front of us, always what's been right within us. Every moment we're going to have opportunities, and the key is to pay attention to when those opportunities come to us. And usually the way that we can notice that is we feel something that pulls us off. An idea, a thought, a memory, whatever it might be that pulls us back into that fearful realm where we're afraid of what we might lose or what we have to give up or sacrifice. And remember, there's nothing that I have to give up. Yesterday, I mentioned that simple quote from the introduction of A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing unreal exists. Only love is real. Only love exists. That's who and what you are. That's every moment, every person, no matter what. If someone comes to you, your father or someone else comes to you with some kind of a fearful idea or concept and wants to put you in a box, that's okay. Just let love be the box itself. And that box is going to fall apart and expand in every direction, I promise. So that's what's moving through me in this beautiful discussion that we're having. So thank you, Penny Honey. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Vicky, as I know she's probably packing up, getting ready to leave for the airport any moment, but she has time to spend a few minutes with us. So good morning, Vicky.
Good morning, Brother Juniper Joseph and Reverend Penny and all our family. Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm going to get right in the car right after this and get to the airport. But Penny, God's eye view, I love that. You know, it's those simple little ways of saying something that in itself is the reframe. A God's eye view, of course. Even a bird's eye view is better than an ego's eye view. That's for sure. And all the different ways we say it, above the battleground and all this. And Brother Juniper, Joseph, I love your name and I love saying it. I just love it. June Joe, I love it. So it is a reframe. So the idea for me is that it's a total reframe. I mean, on everything. That's why we can afford to be like little children. If we know that love is all there is, and we do know that, we may not be able to feel we access it all the time, and that's okay. That's what this healing stuff is all about. But we know that the essence of happiness, of perfection, of love, of spirit is the state of all-inclusive love. So all that every tradition is telling us is you don't know what you're looking at. So the blanket reframe for everything is forgive it all. Forgive it all at the get-go. Forgive it all and stand like a kid and wonder, oh, well, show me what it means. Oh, well, show me. We have taken some of the components of time and space and made them so sacred, death and birth and all this, and none of that really happens. It's a dream that we go into a body. It's a dream that we leave a body. None of it is so. But from the bird's eye view, not the God's eye view, it seems we're locked into this identity. But the God's eye view is my children are sleeping and I want them to awaken happily, happily. So the big reframe, forgive it all, forgive all the appearances in favor of show me, wonder like a child. That's it. Forgiveness is what restores our mind to our one will that we share with our Creator. Because exceptions, grievance, any kind of upset, any kind of striving, it isn't even an upset. It's the effort to go get something, to get anything is what interferes with that God's eye view. God's eye view is a state of expansive everything, the all in all, the embrace that never stops. So when we see the exception, oh, that isn't so. I don't know what is, but let it go. What it means to let go is let go of our effort and our resistance. That's what it means to let go. That's what it means to forgive something, not to continue to pursue it and come to a conclusion with it, but let it go. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. And in that, when we give up the effort and the resistance, we are returned naturally to a state of love because the resistance and effort was the obstacle under every variation of a name, all of the versions of specialness. And so the gift is forgive it all. You don't have to be a saint or a sinner either way. It's just something very practical. Forgive it all and find out what's really going on. God's eye view. Love is going on and nothing interfered with it. No valuing of some dream part or dream situation. No valuing of anything but simple, single love. Thank you guys. And I'll miss you all. I will tune in though from there.
We will miss you, Vicky, and we're hoping you guys will tune in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite you into an expanded understanding of what God's eye view can be. I'm going to invite you into considering what we talked about yesterday, that stillness. That shiny object, the Ferrari. I still think they were looking at the gelato. Or very possibly Juniper Joseph, of course. But the expanded idea of it is in the stillness that we truly get to lift up into that God's eye view. And we get to relieve ourselves of any limitations that we've imposed. I had a very limited view of what my father's idea of love was. I had no idea it had to do with making me feel safe in the world. And the only way I could feel safe was for him to always be right. I had no idea that that was the perspective or the place that he might have been coming from. What is the clock on the wall that you're hanging? What is it in your life? How do you want to relieve yourself of those limitations? Going into the God self, hearing the goddess within you, and hearing the invitation to see this from there. What is it? Is it a distance with a child? Is it the missing of familiarity? Is it a misunderstanding? What is it that you could apply your wisdom reach to and really relieve yourself of those limitations? Course in Miracles tells us this: there is no limit placed upon himself, and so are you unlimited as well. What if we lived from the God's eye view? I don't know, maybe not all day. That might be a bit much. I think it'd be cool, but it might be a bit much. But this is a question I invite you into today. Where does love see this from? From what perspective would love see this? What does the God in me have the capacity to see in this moment? Sure expands my day, invites me into something greater. So Juniper Joseph, do you have anything else? And then shall we invite Scott up to share with us his amazing ability and skill?
Sure, Scott will come up with something brilliant to share. Only this. We bring it all into three simple statements, which are really only one statement. We say only love, only God, only now, which is really just the same as saying only love. That's all there is. Only love is real. And if we can just remember that, we keep coming back to that whenever we feel that shift away into fear or what if, or what am I going to lose? What am I going to gain? And any of these things, just remember only love is real. And I am that. So I have everything I need. Everyone does. Even in the midst of a trying time like we find ourselves in, we find ourselves in a world that is shifting in very unsettling directions. But if we can remember only love is real and just stay there and reframe everything back through the lens of our own Christ consciousness, we realize that God is here right now, right here, right where we are. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Scott, and he can take us home. So wonderful to see you all. As Scott comes up, I'll just say that Vicki and I, as you know, we're going to be seeing each other in about a day and a half in Holland. Vicki, I hope you have a wonderful, effortless trip. Mine's a lot shorter, only about 2-hour flight to get to Holland from Italy, but yours is a bit longer, but I'm sure it's going to be very easy and effortless. So, Scott, good morning to you. Go ahead and lead us home.
All right. Ego thinks there's so many big deals, things to worry about. But now we're remembering only love is real, and it's okay to have doubt. Doubt will come and go, and yet when we're together and we join like this, we get lighter than a feather. Look at the sunrise, look at the mountains, look at the mirror. All you see are fountains of love. I reckon nothing 'cause it's no big deal, it's a cosmic joke. All our burning issues are going up in smoke. There's a laugh in everything, appearances conceal. Even Monty Hall agrees there's no big deal. Remember, to that, we say, Amen, 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 Amen.